Well, greetings to all. It is January the 19th with 347 days left in the year, 12 more episodes till the changeover. So keep coming out, spread the word. We're going to come into the top 10 final episodes of the daily devotional and then turn things over. So if you are new here and you want to keep coming back, you can go back, look on our playlist on the channel, or subscribe to the channel, click a like, share it with a friend, and you will get updated when we have new devotionals. So let's get going with the scripture of the day, shall we? Colossians 2:8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. For those of you that are reading the Bible in a year, today you're looking at Genesis 46 to 48 and Matthew chapter 13, 1 to 30. Here's your thoughts for the day. Childhood is a time of rapid changes. Between the ages of 12 and 17, a parent can age 30 years. Well, that's the way things come clear. All of a sudden, and then you realize how obvious they've been all along. Integrity is staying true to your inner voice and having the stillness to actually be able to listen to it. Here's your motivation for the day. There is no great achievement that is not the result of patient working and waiting. All right, let's get into some history, shall we? On this day in 1840, American explorer Charles Wilkes discovers the coast of Antarctica. 1848, gold is discovered in California. 1915, Britain's first air raid casualties when German Zeppelin airships bombs the Great Yarmouth in Norfolk during World War I. 1978 was the end of the line for the Volkswagen Beetle, with the last of its 16 million produced since 1938. Now, they revised it a few times. But in 2006, the New Horizons probe is launched by NASA on its mission to Pluto, which is no longer a planet. Here's your personal story for today. It's about God's provision. Bread has come to be regarded as something less than it was, in Bible times particularly. We don't usually think of it as a symbol of life's necessities. In Jesus' day, however, bread represented nourishment in all its many forms. This helps us understand why the Lord told Israel to put bread in the holy place of the tabernacle, his house of symbols. Therefore, that first room, 12 loaves were to be displayed on a golden table before the Lord, Leviticus 24. Now, those loaves reminded Israel that God always provides for his own when they come to him on his terms. The bread reflects God's promise to provide for all who are hungry and thirst for righteousness, right? Remember that in Matthew, the words of Jesus. For the Christian, bread may represent the Bible, Jesus, fellowship, the provision of God and spiritual needs, breaking bread house to house, all of these things. He cares for us and he's ready to feed us. But his offer is not unconditional. That's the key. He promised to provide daily bread for those in obedience who have separated themselves to live and eat from the hand of God. Now, the Lord cares for all who willingly and humbly receive their physical and spiritual food from him. So come unto him today. Here's your devotional thoughts for the day. Genesis 39:9. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? References from Genesis 39. Raul Corvalan is a taxi driver in Buenos Aires, and he earns less than $200 per month, and he has, some money he can't buy, honestly. Well, one day the woman left more than $3,500 worth of antique jewelry in the back of his taxi cab. He called the taxi company, got the woman's address, and returned the jewelry box in person. The Argentinian government was so impressed, they awarded him and his family with a paid vacation at a nearby beach resort. Corvalan said, I did not expect anything in return because what I did should be expected from everyone. Like Raul Corvalan, Joseph was a model of integrity. In Egypt, he was purchased as a slave by Potiphar, and that's the captain of Pharaoh's guard. God was with him and gave him success, and soon he was trusted so highly, he put him in charge of the household affairs. As a steward, he pursued excellence and integrity in all his duties, and his work was blessed, as was Potiphar's house, by the Lord, of course. Joseph also showed integrity in the area of sexual purity. He resisted the sexual advances from Potiphar's wife, not once, but multiple times. He tried to reason with her, saying it would be a betrayal of his master and, more importantly, a sin against God. He tried to avoid the appearance of evil, refusing even to be with her. And even though nobody was looking, he's away from land, he was faithful. Finally, she tried to force him to come to the bed. He broke loose and ran away. Spurned and angry, she gave up on sex and opted for revenge, using Joseph's cloak as evidence for her lie to her husband. This was the second time his cloak had been told in an untruth about him. Even though the other servants knew the truth, no one would have dared contradict her. Potiphar may have been suspicious of the lie, though. Some laws allow for the death penalty in rape cases, but instead of having his slave executed, which would have been right under the law, he merely sent Joseph to prison. In prison, the pattern repeated. Joseph's faith and righteousness remained strong, and God was with him. He did well, and soon he was trusted again with leadership and responsibility. The final thought is about the anointed of the Lord. 1 Samuel 24, 6-7. And he said unto his men, the Lord forbid that I should do this thing unto my master, the Lord's anointed, to stretch forth mine hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord. So David stayed his servants with these words and suffered them not to rise against Saul. But Saul rose up out of the cave and went on his way. Many motorists have had at least one encounter with the police. When the red and blue lights flash on top of their car, you should pull over. Whether you have had any personal affection for the person behind the badge or not, you still have to respect their position. He has been given the authority to enforce the rules of the road, and your feelings have nothing to do with it. David had the same attitude towards Saul. It must have been difficult to muster any feeling of devotion for a man who was trying to kill him. Furthermore, the king's motives and actions, they're irrational. Still, Saul had not been removed from his position as the king of Israel. As a result, David had to treat Saul with the honor as God's anointed leader, even though he could not approve of his actions. The position deserved respect whether or not the man did. Now, as we interact with pastors and other Christian leaders, there will be some with whom we might disagree theologically. Others may have methods that we think inappropriate. Yet, because they are individuals called to serve the Lord in a special way, we must respect their position, even when we disagree with them personally. Even Jesus said that about the Pharisees sit in the seat of Moses. Now, if you're struggling to respect your pastor or another leader, remember their position. You don't have to agree with them, but you do have to treat them with the consideration due their calling. Pray about that. Pray for your pastor as well. And the Lord will be the one that will take care of everything for you. Well, that concludes today, the facts. Giant cricket of Africa. It enjoys eating human hair. You can tell the sex of a horse by its teeth. Most males have 40. Females have 36. Here's your closing thought. Lord, let me not forget that your blessings are to be shared. Pass them on to others today. Share this. Click a like. Subscribe to the channel. It's going to be great. All right, here's some jokes for today. What happens when the cannibals eat a comedian? Well, they have a feast of fun. What happened at the cannibals' wedding party? They toasted the bride and groom. When do cannibals cook you? Well, that's easy. On Fridays. What does a cannibal eat with cheese? Pickled organs. What do you call a massive witch doctor? Mumbo jumbo. What did the cannibal mom say to her son who was chasing a missionary? Stop playing with your food, Junior. What do cannibal secretaries do with the leftover fingernails? They file them. How can you help a starving cannibal? Give them a hand. What was the cannibal called who ate his father's sister? An anteater. What happened if you upset a cannibal? Uh-oh, you get in hot water. That's the best I got for today. Thanks for coming. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.